Welcome everyone to Fuzz TV. I am Peter, that is Tara. We talk about TV shows here. The year is 2022 and the name of the show is Babylon 5. This is going to be season 5, episode 9. It's called In the Kingdom of the Blind. So full spoilers for the episode as always. It is worth mentioning, someone in the comments did point out that Day of the Dead, which we did last time, was originally meant to be later in the season, but they aired it where it was. And the only thing I really noticed in this one that kind of stuck out to me is Byron saying that he just found out last night about the telepaths and their origin. And I was like, that was 2 episodes ago.
What?
So, yeah, not a big deal, but just something worth mentioning. We are aware that there was some shuffling going on. But yeah, so there's 2 main plots in this. One is the telepath plot, which is coming to kind of a big head, and then we have the Londo plot. We have stuff going on Centauri Prime, and that is our main two stories. How did you feel about this one, Tara?
Yeah, it's pretty good. I like this one a lot. I am enjoying both of these threads, and I got to see what's going on Centauri Prime, and I enjoyed seeing the current placeholder for Emperor Regent, and I enjoyed seeing the Byron story continue. So it was a pretty good episode.
Yeah, no, I like that the telepath stuff's culminating to some extent, and it's becoming a bit more of a conflict. And it's like, okay, so there's some exciting stuff going on there. The Londo stuff is inherently interesting because it's it's something that was already like a thread from before, that this parasite thing, but there's more added to it this episode. So yeah, there's a lot of juicy stuff in this one. I guess we'll stay in the station to start with. We'll do the telepaths, and they're planning something. They want to demand a world of their own, and Byron goes to Garibaldi to request an audience with the Alliance, all the representatives, but he lies about what it is. He says he's got intel about something that's going on. At the start of the episode, they set up that there's these attacks happening to basically every race. Like there's some just like transport ships with cargo are just being annihilated. No one is still in the cargo, which makes it very hard to pinpoint like who's even doing this and what the motive is. But everyone's getting hit kind of equally, and it's very random. So that's kind of like, it's kind of like set up at the start of the episode, and it's mostly not really addressed. I think there is something towards the end that kind of links to something else, but it's not like said explicitly. The episode then kind of goes into more about the telepath stuff. After that first part,
I was thinking maybe like the most likely thing would be Earth, just because they're so upset about, Babylon 5 being its own thing.
No, it ties into the Londo plot, so I'll save it for when we're we're diving into that. But Byron immediately, when he goes up to talk, just goes, "I'm not here to talk about what I said I was going to talk about. Instead, I've got some demands. We want a world of our own because it turns out we were made, and we've served all you bastards enough. Give us our own world." And it basically, gives them an ultimatum because, we've been scanning everyone for the last couple of days, and we have all of your secrets. And if you don't give us a home world within, whatever amount of time, then we're going to reveal them all. So everyone's panicking.
Not supposed to do that.
Yeah, tensions get high. Sheridan's like outraged halfway through this speech. Garibaldi is pissed. He's like, never trust the telepath. He's like really upset about it.
Tattoo it to the inside of my eyelids.
So yeah, which is an interesting thing because it's like he's still being peaceful technically because he's not using violence, but you can't deny that there's some strong arming going on with this method.
Yes, it is still a we have the upper hand, but we're going to do this as peaceful as possible. Like, they know all their secrets, but they're not going to reveal them unless they're backed into a corner. And even still, they are kind of backed into a corner by the end, and they're not threatening to reveal anybody's secrets yet.
Not yet, although there is a couple that defect by the end because they want to fight back. Because there's one telepath who gets attacked by some Drazi for what they've done, and like Byron tells everyone to stay back, and a few of them don't, and they end up going to beat them up, which creates this tension because now the Drazi are saying the telepaths attacked them. So things are, they're escalating kind of throughout the episode, and it's like more and more of the telepaths are starting to feel like oh, this is a threat to a lot of people, or at least people are going to perceive them that way. And Sheridan kind of, he's like, well, maybe I made a boo-boo, giving them this, colony here. But he does also kind of admit that, like, perhaps we do owe them more than we've given them. There's a really great moment with Delenn, specifically. Yes, Tara?
Yes, I was just agreeing with that statement.
Okay, good.
Thinking mostly about Lita.
Sure, yeah. I mean, we've seen what Lita's been through, and we sympathise with everything. There's a great moment with Delenn where she's with Garibaldi and Sheridan. It's right after this is all the speech has happened, and Garibaldi's pissed, Sheridan's pissed, and they're saying this is not the right way to do it. This is the very inconvenient way to do it. And Delenn says, "Yeah, I'm pretty sure people on Earth said the same thing after your civil war," and walks out. And they kind of like make a joke, not in a dismissive way, but they just kind of say, "Sometimes I hate that she has memory," and it's just kind of that acknowledgement of she's got a damn point. I hate that she's got a point, but she does. Is that fundamentally...
Touche, Delenn, touche.
Yeah, like, Sheridan saw there was a problem with the way things were being done and really believed that they had to fight it, and the telepaths have now taken up a fight, and it's... Like, I wish I liked Byron and the telepaths a bit more and felt more for them, because it would be really interesting to have this, like, not sure what side I'm supporting kind of thing going on, because I'd be like, no, they're kind of right, but they're also kind of making my main characters that I've grown attached to over these past several years the villains, and that's and that would make it very mixed.
But they still empathize with them.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
They seem to be on, like, a bit on their side still. Like, this is not an unreasonable thing to ask for. It's just, like, super inconvenient right now.
Yeah, but Sheridan does admit that he can, they have to de-escalate things first, and the best way to do that is to detain them. So he does authorize Zach to go in and take them. And Byron's plan is basically, let's just lock ourselves in and do a hunger protest.
Strike?
Yeah. So best. What was funny though is that once one of them said, like, what happens when we run out of food, and I was like, oh, you're expecting this to last a long time. And then towards the end of the episode, Byron turns to it and goes, this will only keep up for a couple of days. And I'm like, how much food did you have? Like, a couple of days? I thought you were going to be in here for like months with the way you were talking.
Surely it's not that much of a hunger strike if it's just a couple of days.
Yeah, if they've already got, because they said, let's bring all our food into this central area so we can lock it in with us. So they've got some food already. Like, like, I have to imagine it's going to last a couple of days.
We're going to miss our dinner tomorrow.
Unless it was like
then they'll be sorry.
maybe it was the day before they get the groceries, so they're just on like what's left. It's like the dregs of the last batch. They've got
yeah.
A couple
it's like a half bag of spinach left in the fridge.
Yeah, a couple of tins of something.
Some stewed tomatoes. You're like, I guess.
It's basically Matt Damon and the Martian. I've got his science to shit out of this. Is that part of the week, if you will.
I see now why they needed to have all the telepaths in this little club have long hair, because there's a scene where like the telepaths are monitoring just people like in elevators and whatever when they're wandering through. But if you just had like regular looking people without long hair, then like the sinister music that plays when they're walking away, you'd be like, what? Like, I don't get it. There's just people walking. But now okay, the telepaths are following them. Yeah,
they do have kind of like a uniform look to them though, like outfit wise. So I think you'd probably still get it, because they're all head, neck to toe in black. That's even Lita's wearing that now.
Yeah, I guess. I still think it'd be a bit like, I'd still probably go like, what was that? What am I supposed to be paying attention to? They're just a bunch of dudes.
There's some truth. There's some truth in it. Yeah, I think the conflict's interesting. I think the demands, like, I wish I cared more about the group of people. It does kind of feel like they're maybe rushing it a little bit with this group of like new characters, but only one of whom is really a character. The rest are just kind of red shirts standing around. And obviously, Lita's like, they're trying to use Lita as this link to make us care more, because it's Lita that's there. But it almost feels like, because she's just kind of going along with whatever Byron says, she does kind of like dispute him a little bit at the start of the episode, where she's like saying, well, like, yeah, the Vorlons created us, but like, there's nothing we can do about that now, so why are you angry? Gone. Who gives a shit? Like, and he's like, but it doesn't matter, we wrote something, and he keeps like rebuttaling her with like, he's determined to do something about this. But yeah, at the end of the episode, when they're probably not got much time left, they're in bed because how they've cut out a little private area for themselves when all the other telepaths in them are all like cramped in like this one area.
I mean, do you really need privacy if everyone can like pick up that you're having sex telepathically anyway? Does privacy matter anymore?
I guess I'm more disputing that they're finding time to get kinky when they're in the middle of like a like a serious situation.
Passions are hot.
Yeah. But he basically says to her at the end, when the time comes, we'll have to separate and you must do what I tell you in that moment. So the cult leader part of him's kind of coming back in a little bit.
Does it sound a little bit like he's probably going to die?
We can hope, yeah.
I mean, it's kind of feels like it's setting that up for me.
Yeah.
Like just the whole, like, he has to be a martyr. He's got to die for this in order to be taken seriously.
I kind of get it. I also would say that even if he doesn't die, it does feel like we're like, maybe I'm completely wrong here. Maybe this plot goes on all season, but in the way that the past seasons have kind of wrapped up some other plots like halfway through and then like new things have started, it kind of feels like this telepath plot is like building up to a conclusion soon in the next few episodes. Just the way it's going just feels like that. Maybe I'm completely wrong, but I was getting that vibe from just the way everything was kind of popping off in this episode.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. I like Zach trying to reach out to Leah, saying, if you're in there, come out and, talk to us. And Leah even says, maybe I can go talk to Sheridan. He will listen to me. Like, I'm not just some stranger. And he's like, he probably will, but it's, probably out of his control now. Because, and I think that's right after the scene where Sheridan says, no, yeah, like the best way, we have to de-escalate this, and the best way to do that is to detain them now. So, yeah, so tensions are rising. I wish I did care a bit more about the telepath side of it, but in the sense of the characters, because I do think it would be very interesting if we sympathize more with them. Because I mean, in theory, I sympathize, but it's kind of what Sheridan says actually when Delen's arguing that they're kind of right. There are owed these things. He says, yeah, on a purely ideological basis, they're right. But like, it doesn't mean it's easy to implement. It doesn't mean that we can just drop everything and do it. Like, there has to be like steps to this. It kind of feels that way the way it's narratively told as well, where I'm like, in theory, yeah, this all makes sense, but I don't necessarily attach to these characters enough to like sort of not pick the other character sides by and large. Once he made his demands this way, it did kind of feel like Byron was crossing a line where I'm like, okay, you're kind of a villain. I mean, you're not villainous necessarily, but it kind of feels like you're the villain of the show right now on the station.
He's still, yeah, I guess he's still just doing it, coming off like so Jesus-like, or Gandhi-like. Like he's still still saying no violence. Like, we have the information like that we can hold hostage, but they haven't actually released anything. So I don't know. Like, he's still not really coming off as a villain, and even like Sheridan and Delenn empathize with their plight. So I don't know. I don't really see them as a villain.
I could see I could see Byron dying, but then them getting what they want because they are sympathetic towards them, and maybe that's just the line over the edge that they need to like be motivated, is that one of them's died.
Yeah, I think that's where it's headed. I think that's also like Lita's in love with him, and this is the only way she's going to break away from that group, or maybe she'll end up being their leader. I don't know. Is if Byron's out of the picture. Or
maybe she won't want to go with them because of what they do by the end of this. Maybe there'll be something that turns her off from them.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. Maybe how they react after Byron dies, or maybe just Byron himself like does something that she can't be cool with, I don't know. There was an interesting moment though where they kind of theorized like, what if they didn't actually get any useful information? Because they couldn't do any deep scans. Like, they have to do stuff that's on their mind. And we see Byron scans Garibaldi, and I'm like, oh, if Garibaldi catches you doing that, Byron, like, he's going to be pissed. But they say that because if you're not doing a deep scan, then you only get what's currently on the person's mind. That's kind of the shallow end of the mind pool. So it's like, there's a chance that none of these people who were being scanned for the last 2 days was thinking of anything that was a big deal. Nothing that would be a big secret or that would be disastrous if it came out. But they don't know for sure because, I kind of agree with Sheridan. Like, can you remember every random thought you've had in the last couple of days? And you don't know when you were being scanned and when you weren't being, so.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of dudes on the station, so I imagine it's a lot of pervy stuff.
I mean, sure, yes. Yeah. I mean, these are all aliens though, so I mean, I would say that. Are we going to assume that alien dudes are just as pervy as human dudes?
Oh, I would never do that. I'm a scientist.
You know, I say that, but like, Jakar and Garibaldi, or another Garibaldi, sorry, Jakar and Londo are both pretty horny a lot, so.
Yeah.
We got a couple of case scenarios for the two of the races at least.
Yeah. That's their big secrets, is that we all know who all of you want to have sex with.
Yeah.
That's the secret we'll reveal.
Which is actually my biggest laugh of the episode is when, you know, but on the Londo plot, when Jakar just sort of gives a look to like this Centauri lady and she looks kind of like, oh, and then like the guy who hates Jakar and the Narn just sort of turns and goes, what are you doing? What are you smiling at him for? She's into it. She's into it.
Nice.
Yeah, I got a chuckle out of that. But yeah, no. So I do appreciate the telepath plot's building up, and I appreciate kind of the conflict that it's presenting, because I do understand like the telepathic side of it, and I do sympathize with everything in theory. I just don't necessarily feel that connected to the character of Byron and the group as a group of characters, so it's a little bit tougher to feel conflicted about the choice. I feel more like I'm just on the other character's side. And I'm with them, and they're like, okay, we feel sympathetic towards them, but ultimately we can't just let this happen for some fairly obvious reasons. So, yeah, not bad. Londo plot. Londo arrives in Centauri Prime with his new bodyguard, Jakar, and immediately, like this lord or whatever this dude is that's constantly on his face all episode is like, aha, very funny. You brought a pretty thing. Let's put him in some chains and throw him in a cell. And he's like, no, this is Jakar, he's my bodyguard. He's like, very funny, Londo. No, I'm being serious. So it kind of gets into this a lot in the episode, where it's dealing with like the Centauri around Jakar kind of like reacting to him being there. It's not this normal thing they're used to yet. At one point, this lord even tries to get him to like take revenge on the guy who whipped him last season, and Jakar's like, he sort of teases that he might, but he's never really going to. He's just like, no, like, I blame the person who told him to do that. I don't blame him because he was following orders. You know, so, and Cartesia's, you know, he got veered, so it's fine. Yeah, we haven't seen a lot of Veer this season, now I'm thinking about it.
We haven't, no.
I mentioned him, I'm like, where's Veer?
The same thing crossed my mind when you mentioned his name. Has it been since no, it hasn't been since Lanier left the station, right?
It may have been. I don't know if I can remember. I've seen with him since then.
Maybe. I want to say that he was with Londo in a recent episode, or not too long ago.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. But sometimes characters disappear for a number of episodes. I did notice that Lockley wasn't in this, but it did that thing where
they talked about her, yeah.
Yeah, like what's his face? Zach's like, yeah, Lockley sent me, and I'm like, oh, convenient. She sent you. We're not going to see her, are we?
Well, I imagine her and Sheridan and Delenn, you know, have a little bit of drama, so the less they have to see each other, the better. Sure.
No, I mean, honestly, it's natural enough. We know she's there. We don't necessarily need to see her. This is just something, ever since season 2 of The Walking Dead, which is a terrible season of TV, there was an episode, because
the farmhouse season.
Yeah, it's the farmhouse season. So they're spending most of the season on a farmhouse, and Herschel's the guy that owns the farm. And there was an episode of that show that I distinctly remember where like multiple characters say like Herschel's off doing something, or he was just here, or he asked us to do something, and it happens like 3 times. But it's, you know, it's a farmhouse. It's not a space station that's got 250,000 people in it. It's a farmhouse, and you never see him, and you really got the impression of like, they only had him for X number of episodes, so they had to like just not put him in this one. And as a result, but it felt really awkward and stuff. So whenever I watch a TV show now and there's like an episode where a character doesn't appear, but someone says, "Oh, I just spoke to so and so," it always makes me go, I'm noticing that now.
Yeah. I definitely made note of it as well.
Yeah, so yeah, that is what it is. But yeah, so yeah, some good Jakar Londo moments. Jakar looking out for Londo, taking his job very seriously, guarding his door, all the rest of it. Ultimately has to fight some druid looking dudes to save Londo later on. But the main plot here, the main intrigue, is the the regent, who we know has got the parasite thing on him, and we kind of see the alien this comes from this episode, or at least it's in cahoots with it. It's just one of, as the regent puts it, them. As one of them. Because it saves Londo when there's an assassination attempt. Some other Centauri dude wants to rise up the rankings and is taking out the future emperor. And this being has telekinesis because it stops the dagger before it goes in and just makes it fly back at him. And we get a glimpse of it, and then we get a glimpse of it again later when the regent is being kind of attacked by it for maybe speaking too much to Londo about things. So, but this was interesting because they spent the episode building up and teasing, he's not seeing anyone, he's been very reclusive, and he hasn't seen himself, except that one night he got kind of drunk, and it seemed like he was saying crazy things like, I'm not really me. And obviously, for us, that's the alarm bells going off. Yeah. Because we know that's Londo's predicament in the future. So, I thought this was actually quite exciting stuff, and sort of getting to some of this, and it was quite foreboding when Londo eventually sees him, and he basically, and it seemingly he is drunk here because he's able to speak a little bit sort of on his own. He's a bit out of it and he's saying some weird stuff, but he ultimately says that you don't have much time left, Londo, so enjoy it while you have it, which is basically, he knows that they're going to take Londo, right? And that's why they saved him, because they're planning on assimilating or whatever.
They say Londo is just like them. He's one of them. Yeah.
So, it was this foreboding thing, and it kind of freaks Londo out a bit, and he's ready to go back to B5 afterwards. But there's some interesting details along the way. There's another Centauri dude that Londo sees here that sort of tells him there's a lot of weird things happening, their ships and their agriculture and other stuff has all become really top secret, and no one's allowed to know what's going on with it. And obviously you get that this, these aliens that are controlling the region, or it's them that's doing this. But this guy, is killed and then made to look like he's committed suicide, very, very quickly after this. And both Jakar and Londo are like, nah.
That's not like him. Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, some interesting stuff there. This is the thing that I think ties into the ship stuff, is that I think that it's this alien race, because we see an attack after this, and I think it's a Centauri ship that's doing it. So I think it's this alien race that's taking control of the Centauri fleet that's killing these random ships. Again, why it's random and why they're doing it to everyone is still up in the air, but that's my guess right now.
Just trying to cause a rift, I suppose. I mean, this new federation that Babylon 5 has established is very fragile as far as keeping all the races all together and aligned, and it wouldn't take much to cause some strife.
It may be that, but I was intrigued when it was sort of setting this stuff up. I'm like, I'm kind of glad that we're getting some actual plot with these beings, because it could have very easily just been, this is all just stuff that takes place after the show, and what we got before is all we're ever going to get. But I thought this was quite interesting to kind of see it starting to nudge towards that future, and the idea that Londo has had this ominous warning that obviously he doesn't really understand yet, but just Londo talking to Jakar whilst Jakar's trying to sleep, and they're bunk buddies. He's on a sleeping bag or something like that on the floor.
I enjoyed the stuff with Jakar among the other Centauri, and standing up for himself and being a badass. But yeah, ultimately, you know how I feel about Jakar and Londo. It's a relationship.
Did you enjoy though when he goes into the pompous one who hates him, and he's like, "What time is dinner around here?"
Of course, yeah.
He's like, "Sundown." Ah, good. I'm starved. He just walks off with a smug look at he's enjoying it. He's going to enjoy himself.
Some fresh spoo.
I get a kick out of the relationship, and Jakar being oddly protective of him now is kind of sweet and symbolic of what they've all accomplished by defeating the shadows and fixing things and whatnot.
Sure.
Yeah.
It ain't right.
Look, they killed off what was that character we didn't like?
Morden?
No, no. The Ranger.
Oh, Cole.
Cool. They killed off Cole for you. What word do you want?
Yeah. It's all right. It's all right. Yeah, it's already a better show without him.
They're going to love that. I couldn't remember his name. They're going to love that detail. The Civil War in the comments about us, taking the piss out of Cole, first name unknown, is already a boiling point.
I would love if there was a tomb of the Unknown Ranger form. Everybody just kind of forgot about him.
I almost want to do a running joke now where every episode I intentionally pick a name that's wrong for his first name and call him like Michael and Mickey Cole and
Nicholas Cole, yeah.
Marty Cole. I'll stick to M's as much as I can, just to,
Marty's kind of close though.
Okay, sure. Alright, Steve Cole.
Way better name. Already a better character.
Jim Cole, Jimmy Cole, Jeremy Cole.
Love it.
Jebediah Cole. There's your season finale right there. Yeah. I enjoyed all this alien teasing stuff. I think the building to it when we know where it's going and it finally starting to take shape is exciting, and Londo having this ominous tease gives it this air like kind of like he's got like something hanging over him, and he's always kind of had that in the show because for such a long time in the show he's had this kind of potential future, and we know that he's making the wrong choices and whatnot. But I feel like this is more direct. Like we know exactly kind of what he's going to end up doing because of this, and as a result, like there's this kind of foreboding tone to a lot of it, which is kind of nice, and it feels like a much bigger deal than the telepath stuff in comparison. I think maybe that's just because this was a big part of the show before.
It feels bigger.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah. I mean, we only got a quick glimpse of them, but what did you feel about these new alien designs?
I was surprised that they were like man size.
Yeah.
I thought they were just going to be like whatever parasite attaches to the Centauri. I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah, I don't think I was thinking that we're going to have like I thought it was just going to be them as well. But it turns out there's like humanoid style aliens that come with them. Which is interesting. Maybe this is like their face hugger, but obviously instead of impregnating, they just take over, kind of thing.
Maybe they do impregnate. Who knows?
Oh, we get a chest burster scene in a couple of episodes.
Butt burster.
Butt buster. I mean, that's just a really violent poop at that point, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe after you just feel very relieved.
Depends what shape the beast coming out is, I suppose. But if we're assuming like the alien chest burster, then probably easier than the chest.
Oh, I imagine so.
Still painful. I'm not saying it'd be a pleasant experience, but
let's move on.
Let's move on. Yes, this is whale stuff. Yeah. So no, enjoying all that building and teasing, but yeah. So. Yeah, overall, I think it was a solid episode. That it's moving like all the plots that I'm interested in on the season of the show forward, which is good.
Do you think that because this new big bad has telekinesis, that is going to tie into the telepath plot?
Oh, possibly. I guess the weird thing about it is that because Londo in the future is still going to be like under its influence, it kind of feels like can they really defeat it? But maybe they can defeat it from like try to do anything else, and it's just like contained to Centauri Prime. Maybe that's the big loss. I wonder
if it's more of a like, well, we need telepaths because again, like only a telepath can fight a telepath.
No, sure. Like no, I get what you're saying, and I agree that you're very likely right that they're going to come in and like be the force that they need to fight it.
We need you guys one more time, and then you get your planet.
But what I'm saying is that because we know that they don't completely get destroyed or like get chased off, like can they like win some big fight with them? Maybe they can, and it's just like they have to sacrifice Centauri Prime, and that's why Londo's like begging Sheridan in the future to save his world. But like because we know they still have Centauri Prime in the future, it's like can the good forces of the show actually completely defeat this enemy if it does become this big fight that everyone's involved in?
Yeah.
But you're probably right that like Lita and the telepaths might be very instrumental in actually combating this foe.
Maybe that will be their actual like bartering tool. Like we'll save you guys one more time.
Also, I wonder if they can tell if someone's been like taken over, like if they can sense it.
Oh, that'd be neat. Yeah.
Telepathy, so it'd be like a warning system of sorts. Yeah. So yeah, potential. But that's the episode. That is episode 9 of the show. Let us know what you thought of this episode in the comments below. Like, subscribe, ding the bell for notifications, all that stuff. You can support the show by hitting the super thanks button below the video, or of course you can go somewhere else, can't you, Tara?
That's right, Peter. If you guys enjoy our reviews, please check out our Patreon page. It's patreon.com/mildfuzztv. And for donations as little as $3 per month, you'll get a bunch of bonus stuff. So if you like us, head on over and check that out. Thank you.
Yeah, so there you go. Otherwise, that is us. So thank you very much once again for watching or listening. We always appreciate it. Keep watching Babylon 5. Just don't give away the home world.